Hi, Daniel Hall here, progressing, percolating, and evolving. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through avoiding mistakes that new authors make. I see this all the time, and my hope is to cut your learning curve and turn out a much better product, much better book, much sooner and with much less expense by virtue of what you learn in today's video. This is not really a video where every author is going to make every single one of these mistakes, but chances are if you are a new author or if you're a self-published author, that you will or have already made these mistakes and you're going to be able to correct them after watching this. By the way, if you are new to the channel and you like this kind of content and you get some value from it, I would strongly recommend and hope and request that you subscribe to the channel. You could do that by hitting the little subscribe button and of course hit the little bell notification as well. That way you'll be notified anytime that I publish a brand new video for you. So let's jump into the big mistakes that especially new authors make. So the first tip, and I know this is sort of a little different tip, but I made this mistake myself with this book right here, my Erasing Your Criminal Background Legally book. And the thing that I wanted with this book is gravitas. I put a lot of work and effort into promoting the book, and I knew that a lot of people needed the book. So I wanted huge gravitas. I wanted legal paragons to weigh in on this book and say this is a good, worthwhile book. And to that end, I wanted to ask my legal hero, a guy by the name of Jerry Spence, to write the foreword to the book. Jerry didn't know me, or doesn't know me from Adam. He didn't know me when I first had the idea for this, but I wanted him to write the foreword for the book. So what I did was I wrote a letter, and was a nice, very clean, very concise and succinct letter, one page, that laid out why I wanted him to write the foreword to my book. And I was all excited about it. And in those days, I sent it out via snail mail, put it in the mail, and came back to my office and reread the letter. And to my horror, I found that I had misspelled the word forward, right? I spelled it like when you take a step forward, F-O-R-W-A-R-D, and that's not how you spell forward. You spell it F-O-R-E-W-O-R-D. In other words, the word before, the foreword, okay? And when I read that in my letter to Jerry Spence, I thought, oh my God, I just completely blew it and it's in the mail. I can't do anything about it. And I don't want you making that mistake. But all's well that ends well. Jerry actually didn't write the foreword for me, but he did help me get endorsements from Alan Dershowitz, Jeffrey Feiger, the guy that represented Jack Kevorkian, and Roy Black. So the lesson, other than to understand if you're asking for a foreword that it's how it's spelled correctly, right? That you should definitely double check and proofread what you are sending out to people that you are making requests for, especially, legal paragons and celebrities and the like, which you, by the way, you should ask for your books, because more often than not, they will say yes. And the second big mistake I see, especially self-published authors make, when they do the cover of their book, like I did with this one, another mistake I made, and that is add the little word by your name. So don't add a byline. Just have your name on the cover, because when you do this, when you do what I did with this cover, which is a cover I designed myself, that tells you right away that this author, this publisher is amateur, okay? It tells the rest of the people in the know in the business. So don't do that, okay? Now, moving on. Also with this book, The third big mistake I see, especially new self-published authors make, is they will not obtain their own ISBN, okay? Now, what is the ISBN? This is a number that you put in your book. It is required if you are publishing on Amazon or just about anywhere else. Most people, especially new authors, they will be tempted to take the free ISBN number that Amazon offers. And what I'm telling you to do, okay, what I'm strongly suggesting, I can't tell you, but I can strongly suggest that you don't take their ISBN number, but rather you go to R.R. Bowker or myidentifiers.com and buy your own ISBN numbers, okay? Buy your own ISBN numbers. So those people in the know, librarians, bookstore buyers, they will know very, very quickly by your ISBN number and your ISBN number alone. This is an Amazon title. This is a free, in other words, a free Amazon provided ISBN, and you don't want that. Okay, you don't want that. And the reason you don't want that is because you want your book to be available in other marketplaces, not just Amazon, right? Amazon is just about 50% of the book buying marketplace. What about the other 50%? You want your stuff there as well. So don't cut off your sales in other marketplaces by choosing an ISBN number that's provided through Amazon, okay? So through R.R. Bowker, for about $250, you can get 10 ISBN numbers. Then you could have your own imprint. Your own imprint. And let's talk about that for just a second, because that's yet another mistake that people will make, especially new self-published authors. They will call their imprint something like Daniel J. Hall Publishing. And it's written by Daniel J. Hall, right? No, don't do that. Choose a company name that could be any imprint. It could be a separate company, for example. It could be the name of your granddaughter, whatever. Just not you or directly related back to you. So that's yet another mistake that I see a lot of authors, especially self-published authors, make. Now, the other thing that I wanted to just make sure that you understand is that with your own imprint, because with your own ISBN number, you could have your own imprint, and now you look pro, or at least you have more indicia, more indication of the fact that you are a pro in the publishing industry, and that's what you want. If there is ever any benefit of a doubt to get, you want that benefit, right? And this is one way that you could do that, by having your own ISBN numbers. And then when you publish your next book, or perhaps your neighbor's book, or maybe you start your own publishing company, you have the ISBN numbers to go on to the next and the next and the next book for that particular imprint. The other really cool thing I'll just say here very quickly is that you could start an imprint for every single ISBN number. So you can buy a block of 10 or a block of 100. I have a block of 100 myself. All 100 do not have to be under the same imprint. You could do 100 different imprints if you want, or 10 different imprints if you bought 10 ISBNs. So I just want you to be aware of that as well. Now, moving on here, the other thing that I will often see, and this kind of goes back to what I said earlier, that Amazon is, in fact, about 50% of the marketplace. A lot of authors think, especially new self-published authors, they think that if they get their book on Amazon, that's it. That's all they need to do. They're one and done. And what I'm here to tell you is bad idea. Once again, you want your book selling in as many different marketplaces as there is available, right? You want that. That's what you want, because that's where people are potentially finding your stuff, right? could be on Kobo, it could be on Barnes & Noble, it could be on Apple iBooks. So in other words, don't just publish your book in and on Amazon. I did a video on this and I listed out a bunch of different resources and different places and platforms that you can publish your book in addition to Amazon. And I will put the link somewhere here or there, somewhere around here. Just check it out. I'll have it up there right now. Moving on to our next major mistake. A lot of authors will only publish their book in one format, and then they'll actually come to me and ask me, well, what format should I publish it in? I'm here to tell you that if you can publish your book in every format, that you should. And what do I mean? At a minimum, your book should be print on demand, right? Print on demand book, a Kindle book or an ebook. Probably should be an audio book. And if you get your book published through a print-on-demand publisher like Ingram Spark, you could actually do a print-on-demand hardcover as well. All of those different places you should have, or all of those different formats, your book should be published in, because once again, you never know how people want to consume your material. And why should you guess? Why should you only give them one choice when you could give them essentially 5 different choices? That is a huge, huge one right there. Now, let's talk about the next one that I wanted to chat about. And we'll go back to this book here because I think this book illustrates it fairly well. Spend some money, okay, on a pro cover. There is probably nothing more important for the sale, the long-term sale of your book, than having a pro cover to the book, right? So don't cheap out on a book cover. And it does not have to be super expensive. Like I did this one myself. I took the photograph, I designed the cover, and it's okay. It's passable, and I still continue to sell it today. But I certainly could have done a much, much better job if I would have had it hired out to a professional designer. And that's one of the things that I wanted to just show you here with this book, my Real Fast Writing book, because the first iteration of this book, once again, I did myself until I went to and found a designer on Fiverr.com, and for $25, she did what I consider to be a beautiful job on this cover. Looks pro. You can't tell the difference. You can't tell that I only spent $25 on it. And not only did the $25 get me the cover for the Kindle edition, but this print-on-demand edition, as well as the audiobook version of it. It had all the same design elements in all for only $25. So it does not have to cost you a lot of money. Another big mistake that I see authors make is not taking the time to do a pro interior of the book. Once again, with my Speak on Cruise Ships book, I did the interior of this book, and it looks fine. It's okay, not great. I designed this entire thing with MS Word. It's okay. It beats nothing at all. But once again, I would get a designer, an interior book designer. Also, you can grab one of those on Fiverr and design the interior of your book as well that way. Alternatively, my good friend Joel Friedlander has a series of templates. They're Microsoft Word interior templates. So all you do is pour in your content and it pretty much formats it up, and there's a little cleaning up to do, but I'll leave the link to those resources in the description as well. Joel is a genius at it. That's that particular mistake that now you can avoid. Now, the other one that I think is really, really important, super important. You do all this work, right? You spend all this time, this effort, this energy, you pour your heart and your soul into your book, you put it up on Amazon, and what happens? Crickets, right? And a lot of that has to do with the page, the copy on your Amazon listing. So another big mistake that I see so many authors, especially new self-published authors, make is they will throw up just a couple sentences of copy on their Amazon listing and call it a day. And they usually end up with predictable results, which is little or no sales of their book. So henceforth and evermore, I want you to shift your paradigm to what an Amazon listing should look like. Because what I want you to start thinking of your Amazon listing to be is a sales page. A sales page. That is what it is. So in other words, what is a sales page? You've got to sell your book. So how do you sell the book? Well, let me give you just a brief little formula that explains exactly how to do this, and is going to be probably a far cry better than what most other authors will do. So here's what you do. 3 steps, 3 real simple steps. Number 1, you start off with the promise of the book. So that's the very first sentence of your Amazon listing, the promise of the book. Then you do a number of bullet points, features of what people get by reading the book. So when I say features, I mean not just what the book will, what the book can do for them to solve their problems, but also in each bullet point, try to link back to how the solution to that problem will affect their life as well. Okay, so there's a lot to be said about copywriting, but just think bullet points. What do people get by buying and reading your book? If you just do that, you're going to be far ahead of the pack. Then the third big thing that you do, you close with a call to action. So you tell people exactly what you want them to do. In most cases, it's scroll up and hit the add to cart button and check out. That's how you end your listing. If you just do that, once again, you'll be miles ahead of your competitors and other authors in your space. So here's another big mistake I see authors make, and that is they put in zero amount of time, effort, and energy into getting reviews. When your book goes live on Amazon, the very first marketing action you take is not in trying to sell the books. Heavens no. It's in trying to get people to review the book, even if it means giving away copies of the book to make that happen. Think about when you go to Amazon or any other site, e-commerce site, where you're considering buying something. Do you read the reviews? Well, of course you do. We all do. So you want your book to have as much positive social proof as is possible. So the first order of business once your book goes live is not in trying to sell your book, but in trying to get other people to review your book. And I'm going to give you a really cool way that you can do this by and through a site owned by Amazon called Goodreads, goodreads.com. You can go on Goodreads, you can join Goodreads, and then you can look for other books that are similar to yours. And they're in the same genre, they're in the same category. So you identify 3 or 4 books like this, and they could be really big sellers in that particular category. And from there, you can look at who has reviewed those books in those categories. And you basically backtrack. You find those people because they've posted the reviews on Goodreads, and guess what? You can also contact those people on Goodreads and through Goodreads. They have a little messaging application in it. Hit them up. Ask them, hey, if I send you a copy, would you do an honest review? And you're going to get some takers there. And this is how you can pretty easily and pretty quickly get 10, 20, 30 reviews. And this is another really, really crucial, important thing. I believe that you should do nothing else, okay? Nothing else marketing-wise with your book until you've concentrated and received at least 10 reviews on Amazon for your book. Once you've got 10, then you can start looking at doing other things, podcasts and other kinds of marketing. But concentrate on getting reviews for your book first off, okay? Now, the last big mistake that I see authors make is they'll do this once again. They'll work sometimes years putting together a fabulous book, and they will get people to fall in love with them by and through their book. They'll get people to want to become their friends by and through their book. And yet, they won't have a way for people to reach out and connect to them. So the last big thing that I would tell you to do is have some sort of freebie offer in the back pages of your book, instructing people, inviting people to get your freebie, whatever that happens to be, and get them onto your list so that you can continue the conversation, continue building a bond with them. Okay? So, I know there's a lot of mistakes there to avoid, but now you know how to avoid them. And that's the thing. Once you know, you can apply all of these strategies to your book publication, and things will go much better for you all the way around, and you'll get to the success that you deserve much faster if you will avoid these things that I've covered here with you today. Now, if you got value from today's video, which I certainly hope that you have, I would really appreciate it if you had Hulk smashed that like button. It really helps to support the channel. Also, if you are new and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that right now, because I have so many more great tutorials planned for you. You definitely don't want to miss not a single one of them. So make sure you subscribe, and then also hit that little bell notification so that you are notified every time a new video is uploaded. Last, one of the things that I try to do with each and every one of these videos is to help you to cut your learning curve, to make you more profitable and more successful much faster. It is my hope, it is my design, it is my intention and aim to be a blessing in your life. And that, by the way, is not some altruistic thing. That I'm tapping into something that I want you to tap into. Because karmically speaking, you cannot be a blessing in somebody else's life without them being a blessing in some way, blessing coming back into your life. Therefore, go out and be the blessing.